There's a bit of a spiciness going on. Hello and welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. Today we have 4 whiskies on the cask, and they are all Canadian whiskies. These Canadian whiskies, they don't belong to one distillery. They are just 4 Canadian whiskies we got, and we're gonna try all the different ones. They're not connected, so we're gonna taste them individually and find out what is about all these Canadian whiskies. The first one I'm gonna talk today is the McLoughlin and Steele. This one is a whiskey with a story and kind of a cowboy feeling. And the story is very nice. It's about 2 pioneers, and I'm just gonna read the back of the label because they have the story on there. In the mid-18s, men like Dr. John McLoughlin and James Steele were tested every day in the British Columbia wilderness. Whether it was driving cattle 200 miles up the Oregon Trail or establishing an outpost that would one day become Vancouver, it was a man's grit and determination that assisted in his survival in an unforgiving time and place. Canadian rye whiskey has been crafted as a tribute to the strong and the fit that helped cave out life in BC, British Columbia, and is to be enjoyed as often as possible by an open fire. I don't really have an open fire right now, but I'm gonna enjoy it anyway. And what they have here, they have a nice leather cap that kind of reminds of these old days where you had tough leather clothes in a tough BC environment. Yeah, BC stands for British Columbia. So let's have a look. Has a plastic cap above it, transparent one. And yeah, it's a blended Canadian whiskey, and it's a Canadian rye whiskey. Don't know quite if there is a very strict law about rye whiskey in Canada, but I guess there is a lot of rye content in there. And I think the Canadians are allowed to put a bit of aromas in there and a bit of coloring in there, but it's not that deep of a color, so I'm guessing it's it's not colored. This distillery, we actually do know the distillery. I have to read this Okanagan Spirits is about halfway between Vancouver and Calgary, so it's very close to the Rocky Mountains, I would say. It's just when you go above the United States on the very, very west coast and you go just right to the mountains, then this is about where this distillery is placed. And they say they do have copper stills. Not quite sure if they have copper column stills or copper pot stills. They don't. They say. Oh wait, I've just read. They do have copper pot stills. Haven't found any pictures of them yet, so I can't really say if they're small, they're big. We don't really know. So it's not a very well-known whiskey, but we're gonna give it a try anyway. Oh, tight fit here, and it's a plastic cork. Really has a nice smell already. That's a tight fit for a cork. Let's do that. The plastic, the leather band to the front. There's a bit of a spiciness going on, but also a little slightly alcoholic, young alcoholic note. Bit of a fresh note, a lemon note, and some mild spices in the back. Ooh. First I would have said smooth, then there is a bit of a when you have it on your mouth, it is smooth when you swallow it down. I like tingling spiciness. Then a bit of a dryness, bit of vanilla. And then there comes a bitter oakiness that finishes it off. Yeah, definitely have a oaky end there. It's a bit one-sided, that ending. A bit hard on the wood. Oh, now second smell is much more of a what is it? Is it fruity? Is it vanilla? Something a bit more sweet. Yeah, a mixture of fruits and vanilla with a bit of spice in it. Okay. Second sip is a bit stronger on the spices. Less smooth. And here comes the oak. The end is pretty woody, pretty oaky. With a bit of tannins going on. How many percentage do we have? We have 80 proof, 40% ABV. You do realize it's a bit of a younger whiskey. So it's okay, but it's a strange combination. If I would classify it as a whiskey, then yeah, it definitely has a bit of a Canadian taste, but it's not quite usual Canadian, bit spicier than usual Canadian, so Canadian rye. But if you compare it to, let's say, an American rye with a high rye content and extreme character, then it's not as intense as an American rye. If you like that spiciness, that sweetness, and all that intenseness of a rye that you know from American rye with fresh oak barrels, then this is much, much milder. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. And if you found this video interesting, then please feel free to share it with your friends. And if you have any questions to us, then come to Whisky.com. You can log in with your Google or your YouTube account and ask us any question you like. Thank you very much for watching.